Let's go to a place where everything is made of blocks, where the only limit is your imagination. Let's go wherever you want to go. Climb the tallest mountains. Venture down to the darkest caves. Build anything you want. Day or night, rain or shine. 'Cause this is the most significant sandbox you'll ever set foot in. Build a majestic castle. Invent a new machine, or take a ride on a roller coaster. Play with friends. Build your own little community. Protect yourself with the strongest armor that you can craft, and fight off the dangers of the night. No one can tell you what you can or cannot do, with no rules to follow. This adventure, it's up to you.
Well, hello there. It's been a very, very long time since we did one of these. So much has changed, it's unbelievable. What's good, everyone? UmbreonMoonlight here, and man, oh man, has it been quite the year of live streaming for our forever world. So much has changed in this map over the last year of live streaming. It's not even recognizable at this point. Usually we do a flyby around and we kind of go from area to area. I thought today, though, we would do a complete walkthrough of my 11-year-old forever world. My map turned 11 years old back in September, and a lot has changed in those 11 years, I tell you what. And to accompany us today, instead of flying around, is our host Shadow Rider, which is a name one of my subscribers gave to this host in one of the live streams. And you might have noticed that one of the newer mods that I have installed allows you to have a lead in the host's inventory, and all you have to do is shift click on a fence, and boom, the lead goes away. Shift click again when you're on the host, and bam, the lead attaches to the fence. It's a really useful mod, I have to say. And another mod is that when you look down, you can actually see through your host. Your host becomes transparent this way. And as you turn left and right, the host doesn't immediately turn with you. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room like it would in a normal video game, open world game. On top of that, our mining speed actually isn't slowed down now we're on a host, so we can actually mine and ride at the same time, which is super convenient, I have to say. But let's hop right into all the changes in Asgard. And immediately you have probably seen all these new light fixtures. Now I'm gonna throw up on screen what the dock looked like beforehand, and while it looked okay with, you know, the stalls, kind of the vendor stalls in the middle of the dock, and then lights sprung about where we could, it looked okay for a dock, but it wasn't something I was happy with. One of the big things I wanted to do in Season 2 of, you know, Asgard was make the town feel alive, make it feel like people actually live in the town. Make it feel, you know, lively like an actual RPG town, because for those of you that are new here, this is a map that I'm trying to make feel like an old 2000s RPG town, and this definitely spruced it up a lot. Between the lights and all the cargo, kind of like dotted about to make it look like you're unloading off of these amazing ships that I found. I can't remember if these are from Planet Minecraft that I found them, or are they from some other website? I can't remember. I will try to link it down below if I can remember where I got the ideas for these. But I'm going to throw up on screen too what the dock looked like with the old ships. Didn't really look that good in my opinion. You had a speedboat, you had kind of like a, I don't know, a sailboat kind of, and then one of those boats with the giant fans on the back. I don't know what they're called. I'm not a boat guy. It didn't look right. It really didn't look right for kind of like this medieval fantasy styled map. So I think these ships make it look a lot better than what was there previously. On top of just the lamp design, which I did find this on Instagram. If you go and type in Minecraft lamp ideas in Instagram, this will pop up. Another one popped up when there's 2 more fences and 2 more lanterns, so there's 4 lanterns per post. And I didn't feel like that was necessary for the dock. We got rid of most of the glowstone in one of the episodes, which was great. And another thing too, I came up with this myself. Mixing in with the barrels is either jack-o'-lanterns or it's glowstone. And then you trap those around it. It kind of looks like a bigger, like, cargo box. And it also lights up the area. So it looks cool. It looks like different cargoes coming in. And it lights up the area so we don't need lights everywhere. This is a new stall design. Again, I'm pretty sure I found this on Instagram. I will try to link all of these sources down below if I can find them again. I look through so many Minecraft things. It's, you know, it's ridiculous the amount of inspiration I'm getting now. But yeah, we have these just kind of lined. I decided to push them back instead of keeping them front and center. That way you can unload from the ship, come up the stairs, actually weave, you know, carts in and out. I might actually add a couple of, like, carts and stuff around here in the future. I don't feel like it's necessary right now with everything, but that's something to keep in the future. So I wanted carts and horses and people, you know, imagine this being hustle and bustling. And, you know, to have the stalls right here in the middle would kind of make it claustrophobic, and then have all this unused space in the back. So I just pushed all of these guys back. If you want to name any of these guys and any of these cats or pets, drop it down in the description below. I love to get inspiration for names of pets and villagers and whatnot from my subscribers, from people that watch this video, so we can all kind of add to my forever world. So it's a community thing. So we just got a bunch of stalls right here, nothing too fancy, honestly. I did end up having to fix this wall leading into town because it wasn't lined up with the fox statue. And beforehand, I didn't have this fox statue here. It was more cargo, more lights. I think a couple benches were there too. It looked okay. I will throw up a picture on screen right now of what it looked like if I have a screenshot of that. If not, it's in one of the live streams if you guys want to go check it out. I can't remember what episode we did this, but it looked plain in a way. And for a medieval town, a lot of statues were put in prominent, important places in old towns and whatnot, especially in RPG games and video games in general. So the fox is kind of a spiritualer animal, and it kind of represents, you know, peace and being one with nature in Japanese lore. So I figured that's a good representation of Asgard. We have one of these and then one of these over in the castle. That's a white fox. You can find this easily by Googling Minecraft statues, and that's why I got most of the inspiration from. This is made out of red sandstone because I wanted to differentiate it from the snow fox. And again, foxes are usually orange, not white, so I felt like it makes sense. And it looks nice. Nice fountain. It really seals the dock being important, but at the same time still showing that, you know, the dock means something to the town, and it's not just, you know, this is where a lot of dock walkers are. Now, you might be wondering, well, if we're going to be taking the host is all the way over there. Another mod I installed was a host calling mod. If you press your keybind, you call your host like in an RPG game. And you can spam this, and one of my subscribers brought up, it sounds like Fletchling from Pokemon. It sounds like Fletchling. So that's cool. It does have a radius. This is a Forge mod. Pulled it over to Fabric. So if you get too far away, it does crash. I haven't found a workaround for that yet. But we're gonna come down here. Not a lot has changed down here. Again, benches, cargo, crafting tables, couple anvils. You know, makes it feel like they're unloading stuff from the ships. Makes it feel alive. If we come in here, finally, after a year, I said this like 2 years ago at this point, that I wanted to fill this with barrels and crafting tables and make it feel, you know, alive and claustrophobic. I've finally done that. I don't have anvils and crafting tables kind of, you know, spanning all around here. That is something I do have to get to in due time. We have big guy right here. He spawned from the villagers down below. I was carrying a couple of them and he spawned. So he just kind of roams around now. We do have a couple villagers over here, and this one, hey buddy, you wanna, I have emeralds. Yeah, he sells banners, beds, wool, which is super good, paintings, which we use a lot of. So this is super good, especially for beds, because we do use a lot of beds in town. So that's really cool. We don't have to, you know, craft it. And wow, that texture was going nuts there. Look at that. And we also have a couple stone masons over here. They'll give us bricks for emerald, which is really nice considering we do use a lot of bricks around here. We use a lot of bricks. So again, if you want to name any of these guys, drop it down below. It's really cool. We will get into this tunnel when we get further into town. Just note that this is also a new addition. It cuts this river off. I didn't necessarily, you know, find a need for this to be an accessible river, considering that it ends up colliding with the horse racing track field over here, and the tournament for the guilds, you know, location, arena, however you want to call this. So, you know, this river goes through town, but it's not, it doesn't go anywhere, so there's no use for boats to go through here. That's just my thinking of why I put this here, and it connects further into town. And we also just updated this wall a little bit so it meshes a little better. And it's the same thing over here. Like, down this hallway, we just have barrels and the same, you know, jack-o'-lantern and glowstone, you know, barrel design for this. And this shoved into corners, and this shoved into little nooks and crannies. Nothing has changed down here. I killed a couple of the villagers so they have better, you know, deals for trades. But nothing has changed in the trading hall. I might add a secondary level to this eventually. You know, double it up, make it really good for trading sticks and emeralds and stuff. I want to get these guys down to 1 stick for 1 emerald before I do that. That's just my thought process. Same thing over on this side. Same thing we did on the left side of the dock. Again, anvils, crafting tables, you know, barrels, you know, the like. I did it over here. I didn't do it over there. So we got to do that. Same dealio, my good friends. And again, this took an entire live stream to do. It was a lot of fun. We're going to call our host over, though. We're going to call Shadow Rider. We're going to go into town. And I'm very, very happy to say almost every building in this town has an interior now. We're going to go through building by building. Nothing has changed the bakery. I can't figure out if I want to, in the future, like, expand, like, back here a little bit, make a little room back here. Do I want to expand, like, the top roof, add an extension to the top, so, you know, Beth has an actual house to live in? Not sure what I want to do. Drop it down below if you guys have any ideas what I could do with this build to make it livable for another person, because right now Beth just kind of doesn't have a house. She kind of sleeps in her bakery, or she doesn't sleep at all. Poor Beth. But yeah, if you have any ideas of how to expand this, definitely let me know. Over here, we have the clothing shop, which is super fun because what you could do now with a free cam, like during videos and stuff, I could be like, oh, and we come in here to change our clothes, shut the doorway, open the doorway again. It's kind of funny, actually, that we could do that with a free cam. It reminds me of the X and Y changing rooms in those games for the clothes. Nice little clothes, again. Arene, I just put this in a random name generator and that's what popped out. But if you want to give it a different name, let me know. Same with the cat. But I did say I wanted to do interiors for a lot of these builds. And I did cut this roof line back and we were smacking our heads a bit. We had this staircase, but it led to nothing beforehand. I'm happy to finally announce, though, we have an interior to make it look like they, I don't know, live here. This serves like no practical purpose, but cosmetically it makes it feel alive. It makes my town feel like, you know, people actually live here. So, nice little quaint. It took me a while to actually get the design down to how I wanted this house to look. And I think it came out pretty good for the space I had. I really did not have a lot of space, especially with the doorway. I didn't want to make the stairs taller to match up with the floor, so I thought, you know what? Have a nice little entrance and then have just this, you know, kind of, I wouldn't say U-shape, kind of like half hexagon shape, if I could point out a shape for it. Hexagon, oval, something like that. I think this looks nice. No, you have your bed, you have your windows, which not every window is, you know, good to look at. Like, this one just looks at a tree. But, like, you have a nice view into town here. I don't know, maybe you're spying on, you know, your neighbor and the baker lady to see how she's drumming up business and how can I get a part of that. You know, fun little competitions. Same over here, like, you can watch. I think it looks cool. Might end up adding a skylight to some of these houses eventually, but for now, I think it looks cool. It's nice, it's quaint. We have the updated map, which I have to say looks really, really good now. It feels more expansive than it was last time we did a tour. We come this way. This duplex is finally done too. I'm super happy about it. Really simple design inside, but it feels, you know, like people, again, live here. And my moderator actually brought up a very, very, very interesting, like, kind of little bit we can add to this. Now, this is supposed to be medieval fantasy, right? So, why would people have, like, TVs but still use lanterns? Well, my moderator came up with a great idea of why doesn't the Guildmaster found out how to make TVs and radios out of redstone, which, if everyone knows, redstone... I can't speak. Everyone knows redstone lamps are super expensive to make and super expensive to power. So the Guildmasters found a way to make redstone TVs, but not so much how to utilize redstone for lighting yet. So I think it's just a cool little tidbit, and my moderator Rem thinks it's a cool tidbit, that these TVs are only here because the Guildmaster was messing with redstone. And because redstone's super hard to go down and find and mine, because you gotta go really deep into dangerous caves, it makes sense why they would make kind of more luxury items than practical, because you can make lanterns pretty easily. Iron is super abundant, redstone not so much. I have a little horse right here, saddle, you know, typical. I might add another horse here eventually. Nothing has changed with the Great Ale. It's still the same bar. Again, if you guys want to give names to the villagers, and they have a cat, Daisy, but if you want to change the name, drop it down below. We'll go up those stairs in a minute. If we come over this way, we have Jack and Jill's General Goods. And I couldn't figure out why are you two always doing weird stuff when I'm not around? You villagers, man. I couldn't figure out what kind of general store. We don't have those nice shelf blocks because I'm still in 1.20 because that's where most of my mods are. We don't have the shelf blocks, so I'm like, how am I gonna make these stalls look interesting? And then it dawned on me. Sell profession blocks of the villagers, and then throw in some other, like, practical stuff. You would need a furnace, a blast furnace, a smoker. You would need anvils and enchantment tables and jukeboxes and crafting tables and campfires, cauldrons, bells, scaffolding. You know, this is stuff normal Minecraft players use every day. So it would make sense that you can buy these items instead of having to craft them. I just thought that added a little bit of lore and it makes it look kind of cool. Now, if you have also noticed, we have this staircase in the back now. This fountain was about right here beforehand. I wanted to center it more. It's not exactly centered with the town hall, but it's centered enough now so we can have this staircase. And again, I dotted just piles of cargo all throughout town to make it look like it's lived in. People are getting deliveries and whatnot. But if we come over this way, we come up these stairs. Quaint little house again. Again, just another nice little house. I wanted to make each house look distinguished while keeping to the kind of theming of each small interior. And if you notice, some of the roofs have changed. We have deep slate trim around some of them. We have wooden, you know, roofs. We have spruce roofs. We have mud brick roofs now, cobblestone roofs, brick roofs. A whole bunch of different variations of roofs to make each building feel unique, distinct. It really adds to it. This is probably one of my favorite interiors. because it's very, very compact for 2 people to live in, but it makes sense to be compact in kind of like a medieval fantasy, you know, style build. If we come over here, we have the town hall. Nothing has changed to this building since it's been up. This building has pretty much stayed the same the entire time, to the point where I'm still using oak trap doorways. Back before we got the different kind of trap doorways, I would just, you know, edit the texture so it was, you know, these transparent pieces were filled in. I haven't gotten around to actually changing a lot of these around. But yeah, nothing has changed in the town hall. Everything's pretty much the exact same as it has been for the last, God, probably 7 years since I put this in. If not, I think year 3 I put this in, or some crazy number like that. I don't know what this build's going to be. This is the only build in town that doesn't have an interior. And that's why I said most of the builds have an interior, because I can't really figure out what to do with this building. So if you guys have any ideas of what I could turn this into, what else practically could, you know, be, please let me know, because I have absolutely no idea. No idea what to do with this. Alright. We got this nice little bench back here now on the main path. And a fun note, with the help of a wonderful Discord server and community, I have finally found a way. Let's see, was it this? Yes, this button. With a keybind, I can sit on trap doorways now, like I could stairs. This is super cool. It was kind of hard to learn how to configure it properly, but this actually looks really cool, I'm not gonna lie. It's cool to see me, like, just sitting. And, like, if we take away our HUD, this looks like, you know, it looks like a cool thumbnail someone would have had to have hand-drawn at one point. The modding community is absolutely insane with what they can do. Absolutely insanity. We're gonna call our host, though. We're gonna come down this way. This path hasn't changed really at all. I added some of these, like, kind of tiki lanterns, you know, in front of the mayor's house. I finally decided this is the mayor's house. Just updated the path back here. Gave him a little dock back here because, well, he's the mayor. It makes sense for him to have a dock, a kind of a privatized dock. You know, nice little table out here. Got a couple tanning beds, which, yes, with the mod, we can't sit on them, so it looks like, you know, we're actually sitting down and relaxing. It's super cool. I tell you what, it's really, really cool. I love this mod. Inside, it's pretty much stayed the same. I haven't really updated this in a while, and I really should. I think this kitchen was the only thing I really updated in this, but everything else has practically stayed the same, like to the point where I don't even have a basement for the mayor yet. We're still using sea lanterns down here from way back in the day. So again, if you have any ideas of what we could use this for, let me know. Definitely let me know what we could turn that basement into. Other than that, everything else has pretty much stayed the same in here. This is one of the OG builds that I don't really want to change too much, because it is showing how my building was back in the day compared to what it is now. But some slight modifications I wouldn't be opposed to if you guys have any ideas of what I could do with that. Anyways, we're going to call our host again. We're going to head back into Asgard's. I'm going to call this the Industrial District now, because we have plans for later on. Cemetery's up that way. We're going to save that for the end of the video, because that was one of the huge projects. We have the Asgard's clinic right here, and this is a huge building. These banners are a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, because before we built this, before I did a time-lapse on this, Ozzy Osbourne sadly passed away. God rest his soul. So, we came up with the, oh, what was it? I can't remember the name of the banner. It was Black Moon Banner or something. It was some kind of banner, but we made this banner. It makes it look cooler than the typical, you know, just Red Cross for a hospital. And we could go on the inside. I'm gonna do a quick fly through because this is a huge building. And each room has, you know, the turtle legs, which kind of looks like cups, and it has the plus sign to kind of look like medicine. I thought that was a really nice touch. Nice little place, you know, for grieving families. More hospitals, you know, bedding and stuff. It's a clinic. And then up here we have just rooms basically for the staff when you're doing long nights and stuff, or if, you know, you're coming back from warfare, the staff's going to need a place to sleep. So that's clinic. I'm super happy about that. I said I wanted to move the church a long time ago because it didn't look right there anymore, and I think the clinic looks better there, to be honest. We have the inn, which I didn't have lanterns hanging on before, which I feel really dumb for. Nice, you know, nice little spot for the inn. I might actually raise this building up another block at one point. I might do that. I might not. Might lower the floor. Not super sure yet because that ceiling's kind of tight. So I might end up just raising this up a block and then, you know, because we kind of bang our heads and it feels a little bit claustrophobic. Over here we have the Excalibur for all your swords and tools needs. And we have Lloyd and we have Kratos. Two really cool, you know, weapons and swordsmiths, which if you get the reference, you get the reference. We have the swords over here for combat. We have shields for the guild and, you know, the castle guards and everything. And then we have axes and shovels, which you would be using a lot of when you clear out the land to develop Asgard. I might swap out a couple of, like, the axes for, like, hoes, or I might put another, like, maybe I'll put another table right here and put, like, move this or something and put another one right here for, you know, hoes because of farming. I haven't decided yet. If we come back here, though, we have another, you know, top to the house. And this one, I forgot to put lanterns in, so I have to 100% get on that. Again, nice interior. Let's say, you know, Kratos or Lloyd is, you know, getting out of bed. They see, oh, we have a stream of people coming. We can, you know, they can come out and yell, hey, we got customers. And the other one can, you know, go and, you know, do his thing. When the other one gets ready. It's super cool. I couldn't figure out what to do here. I wanted this spot to be different because we have a vacant house right here that I purposely have left empty because you're not going to fill every house in, you know, an RPG town. Not every house has use. Might actually end up putting a fake doorway right here to make it look like someone lives here, but not let you enter it. But because we have this pathway leading to the windmill, which I might also block off because there's no sense having an interior to this, unless I want to use this as bulk storage or something. I haven't decided yet. I wanted something to be different here, so I thought, why not put all of, you know, the cargo that the boys get in right here? It makes sense, you know, adds a little bit to the build, makes it puff out a little bit. And, you know, it makes sense. I might end up doing that with some of the other shops in town. And over here, just have a basic house. I haven't even lit it up yet. Like, this is literally just a basic house. That's literally it. It's just here for decoration, honestly. We have this nice little pond right here, too, because, you know, why not? Alright. So, if you guys have been watching my live streams, you might have known we got a new character called Granny. And Granny is always up to something weird. And this build was solely inspired by, we were doing a Majora's Mask randomizer at the time. And we had a windmill right here. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to put up here. I know I wanted to put something up here, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted to put up here. And I went on the idea, why not put a clock tower up here? We can add a brand new character. And again, let's say you're over here in town, right? You're getting off the ship. You don't know what time it is. You can see the clock tower from here. If you're in town, in certain spots, you can barely see the clock tower. If you're like over here, you can just barely see it over here by the guild. So I figured that was a cool you know, kind of thing to add here. And if we come up these stairs too, you kind of get a nice view of town as well. Like, you can look off in the cardinal directions, and you can get a layout of most of the surrounding area of Asgard, which is super nice. And it makes it just kind of nice to come up here, collect your thoughts. I did add this doorway to make it look like you can go inside of the clock tower, which you can't. It's an illusion, but it makes it look like you can. We got gears and everything to make it actually look like it's functioning. I love the design, and I love the fact that I could use, you know, prismarine, because I don't really get to use this block a whole lot. And I think it looks really nice. So, to get on to the character, though, Granny, in an alternate timeline, brought back Herobrine, and we had to fight him, and we almost, you know, Asgard was almost destroyed again. And we have Granny's Potion Shop, which, again, if you get the reference, you get the reference. You're a huge Zelda nerd like me. And I feel like the music that I picked for this shop just adds to it. Isn't that cool? The Potion Shop music from Ocarina of Time. Yeah, no, it's... The shaders really does this justice. If we go ahead and disable the shaders... It looks cool, right? It looks pretty nice. You know, you got mushrooms growing around. You got some nether, you know, walt growing around because she makes potions and stuff. You know, you got the cauldrons. Looks like they're brewing at all time. It's when we click the shaders back on, you get that blue light from the soul lanterns. It adds to the spookiness and the music. It just adds. So, Granny right here, we have Kojiro and we have Tortoise. Again, if you know the names, you know the names. More Zelda references, and we have Granny herself. This is actually a custom villager. Now, if you watch my illegal item series, you know you can transport items from one map to the other using the nether. And I had a theory. Could we transport entities, villagers, pets, you know, stuff like that? Could we add custom villagers in a vanilla map without cheating? You can through the nether. So I decided to give Granny a whole bunch of potions that are super, super expensive. Like, glass bottles are not renewable with the splash potions. The luck potion and the potion of leaping and strength. These are the only renewable glass bottles, but you're getting one glass bottle back per, you know, 5 glass bottles. So you're actually losing a net loss of 4 glass bottles. So that's why I did it this way, and this was, the potion of luck was also supposed to be 25 emeralds. Again, you would have to buy 15, spend 15 bottles to get 5 back, so it evens out still, so you can't just buy a potion, drink it, renew it, and the splash potions, you don't get renewed at all. I just thought, Granny dealt with potions in the Zelda franchise. I didn't think it would be right for a villager to not have potions in Granny's Potion Shop. And again, most of these, like water breathing and stuff, night vision, you know, instant health, this stuff has uses, but the uses are very, you know, hit and miss. I love, this was one of the builds I ended up, unfortunately, losing the time lapse for because it corrupted, which was really sad, but I love it, and we can always add in the future if I want it. We can always add something down below too. Anyways, we're gonna head on off because we have, well, what, 25-ish, 30 minutes in, and we've only just left town. I'm telling you, this map's absolutely massive now. Absolutely, absolutely massive. We come this way. We have the blacksmith. We have Tim and Tom's blacksmithing. This is really not changed. I added the wall though. And that's only because I actually did change the inside. We're gonna go ahead and grab a lever. And put it in the right spot. They have a nice little interior. they're minimalist, you know, they don't really need much for an interior, but, you know, it's an interior nonetheless. Back here is where they do all the blasting, you know, the smelting for armor and whatnot. It's a nice little interior. And again, you have, you know, you have the forges out here and whatnot for when they have to walk as well. Might add some blast furnaces out here because it would make sense. If we come over here, we have the stable. I filled it with horses. Nothing much has really changed here. This has been here for a while too. Alright, we're gonna go up this way. The lighthouse has not really changed at all. We still have the interior. If we come up the spiral staircase, we have a tiny one person lives here. We have a tiny little interior. You know, he has the basics. That's all he really needs to, you know, survive. I didn't really find the need to fill every floor, you know, with an interior for the lighthouse. It didn't make sense to me. And I think this works out better than trying to add a spiral staircase going all the way around to the top. Might add ladders in the future. I haven't decided. If we come this way, though, up into the guild, you can start to see we have statues out in the guild now, out in the front to, you know, match the statues over here at the castle. Shooting ranges have moved slightly. We have the new lights and everything. Nothing has really changed too much inside of the guild. Everything is still pretty much the same. You know, we have the nice interior. We have the training hall over here. If we come up these stairs, we have, you know, the classroom if we go up further. You know, we have kind of a lookout tower. Nothing too important to do here. If we head on over this way, we have the chow hall for the guild. Nothing has really changed here. I might end up swapping out, you know, the wall for actual, you know, trap doorways now that we can sit on them to make, you know, these seats actual sittable seats. We come up this way. We still have the guild masters, you know, room. Nothing has really changed in the guild master and vice chiefs, you know, rooms. Everything has pretty much stayed the same here, except for editing the vice chief sign by accident. Come over here, we have the guild master's room. Nothing has really changed here either. Gonna head on out. And again, same thing up here. We have, you know, spiral staircase leading to a watchtower, which people would do shifts for. If we come along this way past the fountain, we have the names of both of the chief and vice chief finally. I decided to go with Guildmaster Don Johnson. He likes to be called DJ because, you know, he doesn't like to be called Don. It's just one of his things. And we also have Vice Chief Gabriel's office, which again, I think I stated this in the last update video, World Tour video. I like the book The Giver. I like the name Gabriel. I like the character Gabriel, so I decided to name the Vice Chief after that. You know, I might update the offices eventually, but for right now, it looks pretty nice. You know, again, and we have all the, you know, important, you know, shields and whatnot from the Asgard lore. If you guys want to learn more about this stuff, definitely check out the lore video, which I will be updating in the future because we've come up with more lore. But go check out that video if you want a rundown of the lore of Asgard. There's so much to go into at this point that it would take up a whole video in itself just to do. But yeah, this is a Guildmaster's office. nice big office. If we come down this way, this is the morning briefing hall and kind of meeting hall for guild members. I might end up adding another like row of seats, because I don't feel like this is enough seating for everyone. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, 30 seats. We are a huge guild, so might end up expanding this, might not. I have not decided yet. Kitchen over here, I ended up changing all the furnaces with smokers, because it makes sense. Still haven't added anything in these chests for the dry storage yet. If we come out this way, other than adding the lights into the back garden of the guild hall, and just adding, you know, a swing and a table, you know, nothing has really changed back here at all. I did add this nice, you know, slab design going around the river, just because it makes sense. You don't want it like careen right off the edge, you know, and it separates, and it also gives just a nice, you know, design to the river. It makes it stand out, so it's not as green as it was. If we come over here, we have the first year team members kind of sleeping quarters for guild members. The second and highest ranked guild members sleep in the actual guild. The lowest ranked members sleep out here, but they get first dibs to, you know, chow, and they get the morning briefing done first, so they could get the jobs first. You know, they get special privileges because they have to sleep out here instead of inside the guild itself. I'm gonna come back over here. Now, that speedboat I did not totally get rid of. I had a fun idea. What if the guildmaster found a way to make a really fast mechanical boat out of redstone? And I couldn't figure out where I wanted to put it, right? And I came up with this amazing idea. I found out that I had normal doorways here, and people could just climb over and get into the guild proper. Because as you can see, the guild is completely walled off. You have the walls running all the way around the guild, and then you have this giant mountain range, which, yes, you could climb the mountain range. I understand that. It adds a layer of defense, though. But the thing is, like, if we come down this way, right here, you could just climb up, and then beforehand with the doorways, just open the doorways and walk through. So I decided to add, you know, iron doorways here so you couldn't get through. But that requires carrying a, you know, lever on both sides, and then how you're gonna shut it and whatnot. And then I came up with this system. To the naked eye, it doesn't look like you can get in, but if you pop this trap doorway and you take the guild master's key, this is the guild master key, and you put all it into the item hopper, you have 8 seconds to get through, and then they automatically close. And then if you come out this way and you look at this barrel, here they are. And the redstone, super compact. This is it. This is it for the redstone. This is literally, I know you can barely see it, but this is literally all the redstone. Actually, let me load the shaders real quick. Because I have full bright for shaders now. If we come through, that's all the redstone. We have these two going into barrels. We have 2 hoppers going into a barrel in the middle, so you can get both sides. And then you just have the redstone going and linking up to the doorway. That's it. And yes, this is, if you come over here and you do this. Yes, this is a dual doorway. So you can do this. And bam. So I came up with that on my own. I'm really proud. I don't know a lot about redstone. So the simple fact that I was able to do that on my own and figure that out, I'm super, super proud of. I'm not even gonna lie about that. Nice little area for the guild people to just kind of, you know, sit down, hang out, secret meeting for the Guildmaster and the Vice Chief, and this is also the escape route for the Guildmaster. Everyone's gonna be after the Guildmaster. He's famous, he has a lot of loot, he has a lot of cool stuff. He's one of the political figures in Asgard, so, you know, people are gonna want to kidnap him and for whatever. So, this is an escape route, and you might be wondering, what is he gonna do? Jump in the water, swim away? There's just a wall here. That same doorway design? Boom! The only difference is this is a one-way, so once that's closed down, that's it. You have the barrel right here for the keys. Now, you could always grab the keys so no one can, you know, enter this. And then that closes. You could do it that way. Or you could just leave them in there and get them on your way back, because many people may not realize that you could flip these up and look behind them. Because they're going on both sides of the wall. They look like decoration, truly. It looks like this is trim. So, to the average player, they may not think to look behind the trap doorways. And if we come down this way, bounce on the slime block. This is the Guildmaster's secret dock. If we come out this way, this was one of the first time lapses I did. And it was super fun to do. Now you might be wondering, well, there's a wall here. How would you get this boat out? So let's say you're being chased, right? You come down. One comes to fire the boat up. The other one comes down this way, right? To this sign. Now we're going to set this up here. We're going to come out this way. Now, if I break this sign, the wall comes tumbling down. You come in, hop up, and off you go. You know, you can speed off and then come back later. Now, you might be wondering, how does this work? How did that work? Gravel is the falling block, right? So, I couldn't figure out if I wanted concrete in this. I couldn't figure out if I wanted, you know, sand, but it wouldn't look right. You could tell sand was here. Concrete, the second it touches water, it doesn't stay concrete powder and falls. It becomes normal concrete, so I couldn't do it that way. So I designed this channel, right? And you put signs down. And then the gravel, you dig a giant hole right here. You dig a giant hole right here, right? And I'll load up the Fulbright again so you can see. So you dig a giant hole, the same height as you would, you know, have the wall tall. And you lay down signs. And the signs, when you break one, when you do it like this, that one sign on the wall is holding up the rest of these signs. If I could aim properly. It's kind of tricky to do. You gotta get just right. There we go. And if you set up something like this, right? You can then put gravel and it will float. And the thing with gravel is it usually is, you know, mixed in with blocks on the wall. You usually have mountain ranges that are mixed with gravel, so it doesn't look completely out of place. Obviously, a big square wall, it kind of looks out of place, especially to a Minecraft player that has been playing Minecraft for a long time. You can kind of see it. But to the untrained eye, it just looks like a wall. We come out this way. You can see gravel patches and square patches all over the place. It just looks like decoration, truly. And if we turn off the Fulbright, it looks even less. And if we turn off the shadows altogether, you can't even see that there's a wall there. So I found that as a super cool kind of niche idea. It reminds me of old-fashioned Minecraft. You know, with basic redstone days. And again, just a nice little secret dock under the guild. It makes sense. It makes sense for the Guildmaster and the Vice Chief to have a way to escape if needed. They usually stay and fight, but sometimes it's just better for political figures like that in town to let the fighting be done by the professionals and just run. And when he's all said and done, he can put the wall back up. Come back up, step on here. Grab, you know, the master key if he needs it. And just come back out. And he's nice and safe, and most people would be like, what the hell? Yeah, they could break the doors down here. They come down this hallway. Oh, he must have jumped overboard. They wouldn't think to, you know, that anything behind that wall. That's my thinking anyways. You know, is most people would be like, it's just a wall, there's nothing behind that. Now, obviously, by me showing it, a lot of people know this now. But, you know. Oh, there we go. But, you know, I had a lot of fun making that. That was super fun. It took a while to figure that out. It did. It took a long time to figure that out. We come down this way, though. A lot has changed down below in the second year guild members area. So, I've done a lot of updating down here. It's still, I said I wanted the guild done by like 100% by the end of 2025. That did not happen. I thought I was going to. I underestimated how big of a project down here truly is. So we now have team leader Erica's room. Yes, I finally got the team leader's room done. Nice little shower design. I came up with this with the walls. Slide the curtain. You can either take a bath in here or you can take a shower. I came up with this doing another project. And I started to incorporate this in every shower because it looks really nice. You know, nice quaint little room. Erica's more of a bookworm than she is a, you know, watcher of TV. So that's why she doesn't have a TV in here. We have Team Prisma's room in here. If you didn't see that update video for that. I fixed this because this wasn't even. I fixed the couch too a little bit. Same thing over here, fixed the couch a little bit. Just did some odds and ends updating with lights and everything. Team leader Paul's room, he's more of the cool leader. You know, he has a couch, he plays lots of video games. You know, he's a hip skateboarding type dude. Again, same bathroom design. I did decide, I said I wanted to make this either another room or something. I decided, and I showed this off in the last World Tour. I just made this a nice kitchen. It makes sense, you know, you're not always going to get money for, you know, doing guild jobs. Sometimes you get food, sometimes you get, you know, other items, and it would suck having to go to the kitchen all the time. You know, all the way over here to where the kitchen is if you know, if your room's like around here. That's a lot. So I thought the idea of just giving them a kitchen, place where they can store food and stuff. You know, they can hang out. Most of these guys, you can join the guild at 16. So, you know, they're between 16 and 18. 16's technically an adult in Asgard, but not really, you know. You know how it is. Back in the day, you know, you were considered an adult by, you know, mid-teenage years. And you can join the guild, and it's just good to have a kitchen down here. I couldn't think of another way to make a room out of this room anyways. It's kind of an odd shape. And the kitchen makes sense. It's good to have another small kitchen. It's good for these, you know, second year guild. You know, you're coming from the first year guild quarters. You're coming down to this area. You're inside the guild proper now. This is kind of one of your first, like, updated luxuries. Joining the guild is, oh, I have my own kitchen now, you know. I can cook and eat whenever I want. I don't have to, you know, walk all the way to the, you know, mess hall for that. So it's super cool. I love how it turned out. We have just kind of an arcade, like, style place over here. You can play pool, you can play, you know, maybe Grand Theft Minecraft over here. You know, maybe you have, Pat Creeper over here, I don't know. You know, something like that. Storage. It's just a storage room. Nothing too, important over here. Bathrooms over here. And I did do an update to the bathrooms. They actually have single, you know, shower stalls now, which is a lot nicer than just having stuff all over the place like it was beforehand. It was like an open shower concept beforehand. I didn't like that. Empty room right here if you want to join the guild, if you want to get team names and everything. I'll be making a video on how to do that if you want to be a part of the guild. I will be making an update video for that in the future. If we come down this way, we have Team Night Eyes. This is Rem's team. And her team members are still, you know, being determined who she wants on her team. So that's Team Night Eyes. That's Rem's team. She's super happy to be a part of the guild now. Same thing with the males' bathroom. Same thing I did for the females. Nothing too important. We come down this way. Again, just added more rooms down here that we can fill up because we need more rooms. We didn't have enough rooms for advanced teams. Bathrooms are pretty much the same still. Again, this might be... I'm missing a log here. This might be, you know, bathroom for, like, toilets. Oh, it might be another room. I haven't decided yet. Shower room right here again. More empty rooms. Basically, down here, it's still in construction because none of the rooms are filled. Literally, I just did the outlines and lit it up. So, if you want to join the guild and you want to pick a room, drop team members down below. You have up to 3 other team members plus yourself, and I'm going to need your team name if you want to join the guild. And if you want a more in-depth guide of how to join the guild, I do have the post in my Discord down below. And well, if you're down there, if you feel like giving this video a like and subscribing, that would really, really help me out. You know, it takes a lot to do these videos. But anyway, self-promotion aside, rooms. If you wanna join the guild to fill them, definitely put a comment or like DM me on Discord. My DMs are open for questions like that. You know, we got quite a bit of rooms to fill. But that's everything basically in the second, you know, year guild members kind of area. Nothing has really, you know, changed much with rooms other than just adding rooms. We come this way and skate past the fountain here. We can actually go up the staircase right here. Because we also have the advanced teams up here. These are the top of the top teams. These are top ranked teams right here. We have Team Quotes, which I made a banner for finally. Love how that banner turned out. We have Team Rose, again, custom banner. We have Team Blaze, which has a phoenix. Team Light, which has a fairy. Or at least it looks like a fairy to me. And, you know, nice cozy rooms. I almost said quozy. Nice cozy rooms. Nice area for the top ranked teams to be. These guys might swap out in the future. I'm not sure. You know, maybe like Team Colts will leave and another team will take its place. I'm not sure yet. But that's everything in the guild. Go ahead and call our host. And we'll head off to the island of creation now. A lot has changed over there. And for new people that are watching, the island of creation is a man-made island made for a trial. And the trial in the giant tower of creation was there for the guild to test who could be members of the guild and who couldn't be. I don't really know how to put it. But before we do that, I did do this in a update video too. Nice guild members, you know, nice little quarters for guild members to be watching. This is kind of an area. Oops. Before my host, like, catapulted itself off the edge. It's just a nice area for guild members to sleep as they take shifts, kind of guarding the area. As I stated, I think in the last update video, I had this wall going around the entire perimeter. It didn't look right. It was just a giant stone brick wall. So I decided to make it come out of the landscape a little bit. It looks a lot nicer than what it did beforehand, and it does go all the way around this edge too, so you can't just climb up. Then we have a watchtower up here, which again, you climb the ladder. This was a repurposed flight tower that we have across the map. You come up. You can guard each of the cardinal directions to make sure no one's going to try to invade. And if you need to drop down, you can open this and drop down. And I might put a slime block right there. Water. Something to break your fall. If we come down the bridge to the island of creation, I just added these trap doorways to cover up the light and added some foliage. It looks a lot nicer. The island of creation, though, a lot has changed here. We finally have the library that I said I wanted to add. The unfortunate thing is that I wanted to do a time lapse of this, and I did do the time lapse, and the file corrupted again. Something happened with OBS. I wasn't sure what it was. That was the time where a lot of my stuff was corrupting for some reason. Don't know why. Can't even begin to think of the reason why. So that was lost. But it's a nice building. We have like this apple orchard. I want to say that these are, you know, apples that are in bloom right now to make golden apples. Or maybe they're golden apple bushes. But I wanted to build this library because I had this really like cool idea. And the idea is to make a codex of everything in Asgard. Have the original lore here. Have codexes of every location, like where the mob grinder is, where the oil rig is, where, you know, the second town, the Denmei town is, where, you know, maybe a cool structure is. My idea for that is put it in a library like this, right? And inside of the library, at the ends of each of these, you know, bookcases that would have those books, have a chest. And in that chest, have an item. Like, let's say Mineshaft would be represented by a lantern. We would name the lantern Mineshaft and then the coordinates. And then we would put it inside of the chest. And if we needed to find, say, the desert temple that we need to go loot again, we'd pull out the book, we would look through the codex. Oh, okay. It's this one. Snag the item. Be on our way. And we could give like a brief description of each location. Like, I seen the double desert temple here on my travels. Didn't loot this one. Oh, this one has been fully looted. We could do it for the villages that we still need, and it's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we could do with this. I just found it a very cool idea. I found it, you know, interesting and a unique idea of how to keep myself in game without having to use, you know, chunk base to find stuff. And I figured too that gives you guys, my viewers, a chance to, let's say you go on chunk base, which I have a video for if you don't know how to use that, and you find a really cool structure that you want me to check out. So you would post in the Discord the coordinates and a brief description of the area you're sending me to without telling me what's there. And it would be cool for a stream or something to just go to this location. Have me not know what's there, you know? It's really cool, and I thought it was a good idea, and a lot of my viewers were on board with the idea too, because it gives you guys a chance to, you know, add to the map, and it keeps you guys engaged as well as me. It makes it feel like you guys are part of the world without, you know, being in the world itself. And I like giving my viewers chances to, you know, add to the map, because as much as this is my forever world map, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be making videos like this. So yeah, that's what we have in tune for the library. This library is not even close to being finished. I doubt even halfway through 2026 this will even be a third of the way. I want to add crafting recipes here too, for some stuff that I forget how to craft. I actually got the idea from Mog Swamp. He made a giant library and he wants to put crafting recipes of every block in the game, so you never have to leave the game for a crafting recipe. And I love that idea. And I want to do that, but I want to do it differently, so I want to do crafting recipes for stuff that we use every day. Knowledge that, you know, if Minecraft was real, and if you really lived in this town, you'd want to know how to make a hoe, how to make a sword, how to make a shield, how to make cobblestone, how to stone bricks, building material. You'd want to know how to do that stuff. Niche stuff like how to make Eyes of Ender. Most people wouldn't be doing that, so there's no need to really, you know, index that. So that's kind of my idea for the library. I love the idea. If you guys can think of anything else to put in the library, definitely drop it down below. I love getting community feedback on everything. Around here, we just have a nice little garden. You know, you can take a book out, sit down, read. You know, cozy stuff like that. The Tower of Creation has not changed at all. Like, at all. If we come over here, though, I will briefly show it off on the inside. So you would flip this lever during the challenge. You would come in, you would do the trials, you would find a way to activate this doorway. And here's where sages live. You know, monks that have dedicated their life to spreading the knowledge to new guild members. They live here forever. Once you're inside, you don't leave. You're sealed inside. The monks have all the food they need, all the, you know, stuff they need to survive, but they have given up all their pleasures in life to enlighten the newer generations. And if you come up the spiral staircase here, and it's a big spiral staircase, that's why we're not going to be climbing it. You know, this area right here is where you would stand in the center of the platform. Vice Chief or Guild Master would indoctrinate you into the guild. They would say some kind of chant, speech, whatever. You would be knighted. You would get your armor set and your sword and shield, and you would be a proud member of the guild. And then you would have to climb back down the spiral staircase. So that's what's in there. Over here, again, first, you know, one of the oldest buildings in Asgard, a, you know, priestess would live here. You would stay here for the night. You're not allowed to leave the island once the trial begins. So you would have a full day just living on the island. You could talk to the priestess. She would give you hints and tell you anything you want to learn about Asgard, the complete history, you know, uncensored and everything. This is the first crafting table that was ever used in Asgard, so, you know, it's a historical relic. Just a nice building overall. If we come over this way, on the opposite side, we have a mini stand like we did up in the Tower of Creation. But over here, this is where you can pray. You can sit down, you know, feel nature just kind of entwine you. You can pray if that's your thing. You know, maybe you want to sit in the middle and meditate. It feels peaceful. And I'm super happy that I got cherry blossoms now, because this is Cherry Blossom Island. We had these trees be pink wool at one point. Super glad we were able to do this finally. Let's call our horse over here. If we jump the river, back here we have the cemetery. This was the original townspeople, you know, castle guards. We have the king, we have the queen, we have the original guild leader that came, you know, my ancestor in the map that came to found the guild. And the entire story, again, is up on my channel if you want to learn more about it. I will be updating it so that's not an up-to-date story, because I did that years ago. But it gives the baseline of what this cemetery is used for. So, that is the island of creation, though. I don't really think I can add more to this island. I don't think it really needs anything more. So once we get the library done, this will be 100% done, and we won't have to make any changes to it. And I'm super happy about that, because this was just a big open field at one point. It was just an island with a tower and a house on it. And I will throw up a picture on screen right now of what it used to look like. It looks so much better now. I'm incredibly happy with the progress we've made on the map. We come over this way, though, and I know this is gonna be a long video, so if you want to take a break now would probably be a good time to take a break. I would definitely wait for your grand return. Alright, for those of you that decided to stay, thank you very much. For those of you that needed a break and decided to come back, again, thank you very much for coming back. Down here, we have the fishing dock where you can buy fish. And again, I just added barrels and lanterns and, you know, the light post design that we came up with. It looks a lot better. And we also, I said I wanted to do like a kind of secondary pathway to get back into town proper through here, so you don't have to, you know, if you're down here, you don't have to go up, around, past the guild, past the lighthouse. I came up with this, and I think this looks really nice. It adds to it. It definitely makes that wall less blank. Then we got some trees right here, and it leads, you know, to the dock. But that's not the only thing. We have this way to get into town. We also have, this tunnel was here, and it just, at one point, just ended, right? You would come down this hallway, and this was just a wall. It was just here to just kind of sit and relax, and I'm like, yeah, it looks cool, but what could we do about it to make it functional? I went back and forth with it for a while, and I came up with, why not add a tunnel for carriages so they can get to the fishing dock easier, too? And have it link up with this bridge right here and into the main, like, inside of the dock, which, again, adds to this wall. It adds to this. It's a quicker way to get to the bottom half of the dock, because even if, let's say, hypothetically, this wasn't here, right, and we took the upper route that we just created, the above portion of this, you know, kind of tunnel system, it's still a long way to go. You still have to go up and around. And it's a tight-ish fit for carriages. You still have to go up and down again. And you would be on the dock, but you wouldn't be on the inside where you'd want to be when a lot of the training and, you know, storage goes. So I came up with that idea of having both an upper and a lower path. This is quicker to get down below. This is quicker if you gotta get back, you know, to your ship. That's the kind of industrial district of Asgard completely, you know, shown off. We're gonna head down this pathway, and we're gonna start to speed run a couple of this, because this is getting a long video. This is becoming quite the long video. This is just the residential district of Asgard. I've shown this off before. Each of the houses is fully, you know, fully interiored. And this connects. There's a pathway right here that connects to this pathway that connects to my base. And there's also, if we follow this pathway, there's also this pathway that connects to a lower section of the, you know, residential district. And this also connects to this pathway, which leads over to the field. But since we're down this way, we have, you know, private property. Trespassers will be shot. Over here, I decided to make just a little house. Little alcove. Small little alcove. I might make someone live there at one point. I have no clue. Yeah, sorry about that. Allergies are really starting to kick in. But yeah, if we continue down this pathway, we have welcome to Romani's Farm. Now, for the longest time when we were doing Long Long Ranch, I couldn't pick if it was going to be called Long Long Ranch or if it was going to be called Romani Ranch, because I like Ocarina of Time, but I like Majora's Mask more. So I did a poll. And on that poll in my Discord, I asked, what should we name one ranch? And everyone voted Long Long Ranch would be, you know, the bigger ranch. I didn't want to not use Romani Ranch as inspiration too, because again, Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game. So I decided to rename this to Romani's Farm. Nothing has really changed much here. We still have the giant wheat field. We still have, you know, the flight control platform here. Still have all the critters and whatnot. We still have the field over here, the barn. Inside hasn't changed too much. Everything's still pretty much the same inside. This is a very, very old build. The only thing that has really changed is that over here it used to be enclosed, and I decided to, you know, open it up so you can make it a little like outside terrace garden, which I feel like this is a lot nicer than what it looked like beforehand, because it was just an enchantment table and books. So yeah, and instead of the, you know, enchantment tables and the books and everything, I just felt like this fit a little bit better. I do have to update the house more because, again, this house is extremely, extremely old. As you can see, the build design is extremely old. I 100% have to update this, because we're still using, like, piston tables. That shows how old the house is. But yeah, so that's Romani's Farm. I enjoyed the fact that I could keep both names. Nothing has really, like, changed past that. Chicken coop is still the same, which I might update that because I have a newer design, but nothing else has really changed. If we come up this way, though, for those of you that are new to my videos, might be wondering what a flight control platform is. So, back in the day, this was 1.9, 1.10, right? The Elytra was at it. And we didn't have rocket power, because nowadays, if you want to fly with the Elytra, all you have to do is use rockets, right? That was not a thing back in the day. You had bow boosting, which was shooting yourself with a punch two bow to keep yourself in the air. That was it, though. The only other way you could get around was going up really high and doing this. That was the only other way you could, you know, fly with the Elytra before rockets were introduced in 1.11 for the Elytra. So I made these platforms to just kind of, as I was doing, you could glide. I could glide from Romani's Farms over to my base. Or I could glide from my base's lookout tower almost into town. If I was really skilled enough, I could glide from there and glide all the way over to the, you know, horse race track. So these are scattered about kind of haphazardly throughout my, you know, town. I didn't add enough of them. I added the 2. I wanted to add more, but I just never got around to doing it. I don't want to tear these down because these are, you know, relics of the past. And they're still pretty useful for getting a sweeping shot of you know, Asgard. You can see a lot from up here. I'm so used to having the Elytra. Oops. Whoopsies. Call my horse. So that's Romani's farm. A very old but very historic build, if I could put it in any way. We're gonna be leaving though. We're gonna be heading down this pathway. We're gonna be exploring. What side is this now? That's the FPS. We're gonna be exploring the north half. And again, this map is freaking, like, gigantic. We've added so much. so much. So, I did update this bridge. I feel like this bridge looks a lot better than it did beforehand, and it does extend down now. And it actually looks like a bridge instead of just being there. Being a wooden pathway. Like, that's literally it. I felt like the skylights were nice and everything. Nothing has really changed throughout the horse track. Everything has pretty much stayed the same, other than I had white carpets here at one point. And I'll throw up a picture now. So I wanted to try different, like, carpet colors to see what would look better than the white. Because the white did not look good. No matter what I did to it, the white did not look good. I tried various colors. None of them really stuck. Black was the only one that I found that actually looks good. It's kind of an outlining, you know, block. And plus, too, underneath these are all, you know, oops, I have my vent mining on. Well, that was something. I keep forgetting I have a vent mining mod and I must have hit the button by accident. I understand there's a backup and everything, but oh man, gotta be careful with that. So anyways, the reason why I want to keep this stuff here is because underneath, as you've seen, this is how I light up the track so nothing spawns at night. It's what I wanted to get to saying before I did a stupid again with my vent mining. Which is all too common here. But yeah, so this is a horse racing track. In the center, this is where people of Asgard, you know, for the guild would fight in tournaments to see, you know, who can join and who not. They would have, you know, on each side, there would be people. They would stand and they would come to the center. And they would fight. And whoever won the tournament would be able to join the guild. Whoever didn't win the tournament would have to try again, basically, and hope that they win next time. So, you know, not everyone can win. It makes sense to have winners and losers. And then right here, horse racing track. Basically, you know, you get on horses, and you just ride it. This track is actually designed for really fast horses. Like, my horse is pretty fast. So the fact that I can, you know, weave in and out and not cross into someone else's lane easily is, you know, something I'm happy about, because I built this way back in the day. I wasn't even factoring in a lot of, you know, this stuff. So the simple fact that I was able, you know, stuff just happens to line up sometime is pretty cool, actually. I'm not even gonna lie. Right here, you know, people sit in the stands. King and queen sit up here. Basically it. Like, that's basically all that is king and queen sit up there. And if I am correct, I can sit on these because I believe these are carpet on the top, right? Yes. So I believe, yes. So I did make it so that we could actually, you know, sit on these, which is nice. It's super nice to be able to, you know, sit. You know, you're watching the match. You know, you're watching the match. King and queen sitting there. Spectators are sitting here, you know, spectating and doing what they do best. The sit mod has really, like, added a lot to Asgard, and it really makes me think of what I can, utilize the sit mod for now versus, just kind of standing on stuff in the future in the past. It's just, these mods really give me a secondary way of thinking of how to build. Alright, if we come down this tunnel right here, this is where the school is. This is where everyone goes to school in Asgard up until, I think I said age 13 is when you could get a job and not have to go to school anymore, but you could. So, nice school area. We have the dock right here. We have a secondary dock right there. Underneath area where you can, wade through the water and whatnot. We've been over that before. Plants everywhere, which look really nice. Again, we don't have cars. It's medieval, map. So this is where the horses would go. Little playground area, which I'm super... We changed a lot of this on stream. We changed a lot of this to have trap doorways, so, you can swing here, slide. Basic everyday, playground stuff. And yes, the interior is fully done. We come right in. We have stairs to first year classrooms, gymnasia, cafeteria, nurses, administration, stairs to secondary. So, I seen this, I can't even remember where I found this school design. That has to be changed. That definitely should be, glowstone. Well, I don't remember where I found this, schematic for the school. I forget where, but it was the nicest school I could find. Principal's office. Vice principal's office, Common everyday school stuff. We have a nice little janitor's closet over here that isn't filled. And this is more of an updated building in Asgard. It's a newer one, so that's why they have, newer lights and everything. Nurse's office. Nurse's bathroom. They went more expensive. That's why they're using sea lanterns instead of, glowstone and lanterns. If we come over here, we have this place. You could this bulletin board where you can place announcements, whatever's going on in school, town stuff. Nice little library. Small and quaint, but good library nonetheless. Let's see. We have classrooms over here, which I'm not going to go through every classroom, but, you get the gist. Most classrooms are set up similarly. As you can see, similar bookcase designs and everything. This does have a daycare in it, though, which is something I do believe that, schools should have and offer parents. Nowadays, it would make a lot more sense, I think. So yeah, it would make sense for schools to have daycare areas, and Asgard's really big on, wanting to have a family unit, but also understanding that people, want to go to work, they want to be part of the guild, they want to do good for their community. So, having children and having a family and doing that isn't always, they don't always align in Asgard, so they try their best. And considering the school is funded by the guild now, the guild wants to make sure education and family resources and all that stuff is readily accessible to everyone in town. If we come up here, this is where middle and high schoolers would basically be. It's this, you go to this school until, you're out of school. One school. We have advanced history. Again, just classrooms. That's basically what most of this building is classrooms. So we're not going to go through all of them. We would be here all day. This video is so long right now as it is. We have a second administration office. More bathrooms. We have advanced classes for the guild. So one of the reasons the guild wanted to do the school is they wanted a way to make advanced classes for the guild possible, and they couldn't do that. The guild couldn't do that because the vice chief and the guild master decided to take the classrooms above the chow hall, which was supposed to be advanced classes for the guild, into their bedrooms. So because the guild master had to make that heavy decision, he's like, when they wanted to redo the school and move it, they're like, hey, we will help build the school and we will help fund it, but we want a couple classrooms for advanced classes for the guild. And the school agreed to it, because, you know, why wouldn't they agree? That's a really good deal, all things considered. So we have, you know, a couple advanced classes for the guild to be able to, you know, teach. Nice little, you know, lounge area. You know, you're in between classes, in between guild classes. You could come here, take a nap, read a book. You know, they have a nice little fish tank, which is super cool. Let's see, we have the conference office, which, again, I had to do the table like this because this was the only table design that fit in this small little area. But it harkens back to the old Minecraft, you know, piston and fence and pressure plate design, which I really, really like. We come down this hallway. Assembly hall, you know, just kind of, this is where announcements happen, you know, everyone knows what an assembly hall is. And cafeteria. That's basically everything in school. I don't know what else I could say here. I did a better full depth explanation of everything in a previous video if you guys want to go watch that. Gonna hop back on Shadow Rider. And we're gonna finally head to the main, one of the main massive builds in this in season 2 of Asgard, which was the castle dock. This right here, this took a lot of planning, this took a lot of work, this took a lot of dedication, and I'm super happy with how it came out. It came out phenomenal, I have to say. So we have this nice little pathway leading up to the castle, and if we follow it, we have this gate, and this gate is guarded by one of my subscribers, Gold. He's doing his job right here. We have nice little flowers on both, you know, both sides, couple trees, place to look out and everything. But it's the inside that really means something. Welcome to the castle dock! If I could jump up properly. There we go. Welcome to the castle dock. So yeah, as you can see, we have a lot here. We have these nice statues, which it makes sense that, you know, a castle would have statues like this. So we have these two statues here of a warrior holding a sword, kind of, you know, bowing like a knight would. Over here, we have this nice frog statue. It's just kind of decoration. We have a whole bunch of just like iron and gold and, you know, stuff we're importing all throughout the castle dock. We have chests dotted about hay. Another one of my subscribers that you can rent a horse if you don't have one for carriages. Another one of my subscribers, Moondrop right here, is in charge of that. We're importing hay and melons and copper, and if we come down this way, we have iron and amethyst and deep slate stuff. And this I found really cool is we have this, you know, sea pickle on top of a pumpkin, and it looks like a pumpkin stem. We have this gigantic, and I mean gigantic crane that eventually we're going to have a boat right here, and it's gonna look like it's lifting off of the boat and putting onto the dock. So, you know, it would come down, pick it up, move it, put right here. We would undo, you know, the ropes and everything, and then start putting it all over the place. And up here, yes, it does have chests and stuff like it's being lifted. Once we get this cleared, which is a whole separate thing I wanted to clear out, and I did a whole separate shoulder on, we'll put a giant boat here for unloading stuff. That's not all, though. We have the Harbor Master's office. Now, typically what would happen is... Can we not open this? There we go. So typically, bam. So, he would come in the morning, right? And flick that lever. And open his doorways. And they would stay open. He would sit here. That's the way he, you know, categorizes and takes inventory of everything coming in and out of the dock. And he has a, you know, redstone signal coming here up to this wall. He would put a lever there, his key, that would open his office, and he can close his office at any point he wants. That way, if he doesn't want to be disturbed, he doesn't have to be. But these would typically stay open. So you would unload your ship, you would come, you would be taking paperwork, you would explain where you're coming from, what you're offloading, the name of your ship. You would be the captain, so your name, you know, you would have a ship ID number so we know what's coming in and out. Eventually, I want to put actual, like, books in here with, like, ship names and numbers and what they usually bring in and out. That way, we have inventory of everything. I didn't have this here originally. Rem actually brought this up as a idea that we need a harbor master. But we also need guards. So we have the soldiers' quarters, which is, again, nice lounge area. They can play cards over here. A little bit of storage, you know, TV. They have the bedrooms over here, which this is one of my favorite, like, kind of bunk areas. Just so many beds. I also came up with this. So you come over here, you pull this chain, and it closes the curtains at night. And then you pull it up and down again, and it opens the curtains again. 100% my design. I love the way it turned out. And it's like that throughout most of this area. Over here, we have the bathroom. You know, it's a bathroom. But there's the way I got the shower idea for everywhere else. Because I couldn't figure out how to make showers in this room. And so I decided to do this wall and, you know, stone brick design with banners. And I think it turned out nice. And, you know, you can hang towels or coats or whatever that you have here when you're taking the shower. So I think it looks cool. Over here is where you can store towels and whatnot. You know, wash your hands and everything. If we come over here, we have the dining area. Again, this is categorizing Harbor Master everything. If we put, yep, we put it right there. That opens the doorway. Closes the doorway. And we come up this way. This is the gigantic chow hall for the soldiers. We have a nice kitchen area right here. We have a nice, you know, table with tons of soldiers can eat. We have a nice fish tank with axolotls. A couple bookcases. I might add another room off of this wall eventually, but I can't think of anything to put here, so as of right now, this is fully complete for the harbor. And the nice part about it, too, is that you can come up this way and connect to the harbor up here. So you can come in this way, come out that way, or you can come in this way, come out this way. You don't have to, you know, settle for going in one way and coming out that same way. I wanted it streamlined in a way. Call out holes. I wanted it definitely streamlined. I'm super happy with how this turned out. It looks really nice. Watchtower. Again, much like over by the island of creation, this is just to watch the harbors, make sure no one's breaking in. I did have stairs originally here, and Rem's like, wouldn't that look better for a gradient with slabs? So I had to extend this a little bit, but yeah. It makes running up and down these with a horse and a carriage a lot easier. than stairs. Stairs was just too steep of an incline. So this 100% makes sense. And we come over here, we have the king's private Zen garden when he goes to just chill, relax, you know. He's the king. He definitely needs time for himself. Let's see if I can actually get in here with the horse. Rain. Well, way to rain on my parade. And by the power invested in me, I have made the rain disappear. Anyways, let's see if we can hop up here. We can. Very nice. So, obviously, the king would have a key, and he would be able to come in and out as he pleases. This is where I had the original fox statue, which, as you can see, is made out of quartz instead of, you know, red sandstone. And it, you know, it looks really nice. This whole area, it's very, you know, peaceful and zen-ish. This is a, custom cherry blossom tree. We're gonna have frogs in here eventually. Again, just another, you're in a zen garden, tons of flowers. We have foxes. Ouch. We have foxes, as you can see, dotted about. We have sweet berries. Nice little, like, gazebo for the king and whoever he has in here to eat with. A little pen for the foxes. This is where I first discovered that I could, you know, sit. I could sit on trapdoors after, you know, configuring and having community members help me configure the sit mod that I'm using. So, again, you can just sit here. You can sit in the Zen garden and just have it be peaceful. And just let all your thoughts go. And just have the king, after a long day, just be at peace. And then realize he has too much work to do and continues. But yeah, no, it's a nice little area. We had a lot of fun building this on stream. I know I had a lot of fun with it. I know everyone else did too. There we go. If we come over here, again, another watchtower. It wouldn't make sense to have just one over here, so I added one over here too, because eventually that's going to be all C. And this is also where all the soldiers can get up for the day. You know, and they'll take shifts walking around, being stationed where they are. We come over this way. This is just a secondary path. If you can't get through, you know, if you don't want to go through the customs doorway with the horse and carriage and everything, if you do have a carriage, you can come this way too. You do have to check in with the harbor master, so someone will know that you're here. And then this is another way. If you don't want to go down that way and you want to go down this way, you can. I might make this slabs too. I haven't really decided yet. But this path is mainly just for the castle. And mainly just for the castle, so you can, you know, get stuff into the castle that they need. Down here, I won't spend too much time down here. It's just where the prisoners are. Prisoners of war, whatever you want to, you know, bad people, criminals. Nothing has really changed on the outside of here. Few things have changed on the inside, so we'll quickly give a tour of that. So this is the main castle. We have the main castle foyer. Nice little dining area, which was updated a little bit, not by much. The ballroom's over here. Again, not updated too much. If we come down this way, we have kind of the slave quarters, housekeeper quarters, however you want to put it. It's a castle. You know, you're gonna have dingy slaves, you know, doing stuff for the castle. It's how things were back in the day. Now, everything in Asgard's fair. You have the blacksmithing area, which I did add netherite for, like, the leader, one of the leaders of, you know, the castle guards. This is his armor. You can tell because his shield's different and everything compared to everything else. You know, this is a place where you can get arrows, have your stuff smelted. You know, typical blacksmithing stuff. We come up this way and come up these stairs. Over here, we used to have 2 sets of families living over here in the captain of the knights or soldiers room. We used to have 2. Now it's just him and his wife. It's just 1. I think this looks a lot better. We have a shield, we have a sword, we have his armor. I think this looks a lot better than having 2 sets of families here. This is the king's private library, private quarters. Again, I want to fill up most of these with books one day about Asgard's true history and not the stuff that they teach you in school. King's bedroom. Have a nice bathroom. There is a nice little office. We come down this way. And come up these stairs. This is different. We now have the entrance to the soldier, one of the, like, I want to say these are the top soldiers. They don't live underneath the dock. These are, like, not, you know, in charge of the soldiers, but they're one step down from the leader. I forget what they're called, but these are high-ranking soldiers. They all sleep in here. We have this amazing debriefing room. Now, this has completely changed. This was off-centered, so I fixed this. They have a nice little bookcase, fireplace. Nice little hidden area that they can hide stuff in. But this is what I'm happy about. This is the entirety of the castle map now. This is huge. This is this entire area. And eventually, all this, I want all this to just be ocean. So, you know, it makes sense to have a ship being able to come out this way, swing around this way, and then they can swing around this way. You know, that way it's an even, like, figure-8 loop instead of having to go all the way around, come up this way, then go all the way back around. You know what I mean. But yeah, this is where all the top, you know, possessions of the castle, you know, the king and queen, you know, the head of the army, you know, maybe the guild master, vice chief, whoever, they can all sit here, discuss plans, discuss building plans, you know, what's good for the castle. Because Asgard has the castle for politics, and then they have the guild on the opposite side of the politics, and then they have, you know, a mayor, which is, you know, one step below these guys. Just a nice balcony, you know. Nice balcony, and again, they can walk all around and everything. None of this has really changed too much. But that's it with the castle. That's one of the biggest changes in Asgard. We're going to be getting to the biggest one here shortly. We're going to head up to the main base, finally, because a couple things have changed there. And again, reminder, since this is a long video, if you guys want to take a break, make sure that you're drinking water, staying hydrated, take a nice stretch. Just make sure if you can't binge this all in one sitting. I completely understand this is going to be a long one. Down here really quick. I'm not going to show off too much of this because it's just the updated train station. I think I showed this off at one point. It's just the update. I just updated it. That's basically it. There's nothing really more to it. Just added logs so it looks better. It's a train station. It's not, you know, nothing much here. All right. We're going to come down this way. Again, we have private property. Trespassers will be shot. We're going to skip the main base for now because we're going to head over to Long Long Ranch. Now, for a lot of people, this is probably something they've already seen a lot of because I've done this. I've been updating this for a long time now. But this Long Long Ranch, this is where I started to stream Minecraft again. This took a long time to do. And I mean a long time to do. We have a whole racetrack, couple ponds. We have a huge pond over here for fishing and water. You can test how fast your horse goes here. You can test how high your horse can jump here. Nice little outdoor stables if it's hot. Nice little horse statue. I wanted statues here, but I didn't want it to be like, you know, expensive because, again, my moderator Rem brought up not everyone would have access to statues because statues are made for wealthy people in this time period. So this is made out of mud. I figured this would make sense for Long Long Ranch. 100%. If we come over here and pick up some rotten flesh, we have nice little area, nice little camp area. We finished this actually as a season 2 final. If we come in this way and open this doorway, we have chickens. And what's nice is if you waterlog slabs, right, you can put these core fans on top of an item frame, and it looks like eggs inside of the chicken's nest, which this looks really cool. I'm so glad I found a coral reef, because this looks really cool. So, nice little chicken coop. And this fence is just an added layer of protection so the chickens don't get out. We come over here, this is, what is it, Billy Bob and Dwarf? I believe the name of these two are. Why are you two always doing funky stuff, guys? Yeah, Billy Bob and Dwarf. Look at them. Why? Every time I come in here. What? Nice little quaint house. Again, if you want to name this salmon, definitely drop it down below. Because I'm terrible at namings. Yeah, nice quaint little house. Billy Bob and Dwarf are happy to live here. And again, back to the funky stuff. So, yeah, nice little house. Call Shadow Rider. We got wheat fields on both sides. I'm gonna throw up a picture on screen now. This is what it looked like before I added the wheat fields. It just looks naked. It does. It just looks naked. So, I'm happy I was able to, you know, add the wheat fields and it actually looks good. And the statues really make it look good. Over here, we just have a barn for horses, llama, skeleton horses. Hank is our first horse we had here. It was named after one of my friend's dogs that died. So, Hank's in retirement. He's nice and happy, chilling, living his best life. We have Shadow Rider now. We have a couple parrots in here. If we come over and follow the path this way, we have kind of like a kennel where we have dogs and cats. So if you want to name any of these guys, let me know, because we could add a whole lot more. And a couple of the, you know, pet names that we came up with, it's stuff like fish legs that one of my subscribers came up with. You know, we have fish legs. If we come over here, we have Hiccup and Fantasia and Dexter. You know, my subs named a lot of this stuff. Again, if you want to name a cat or something, let me know down below. I don't know what I want to add back here. I don't know if this wants to be free-range chickens or not. I still have not decided on that. So, drop it down below if you think this should be free-range for chickens. But that's Long Long Ranch all taken care of. We're gonna head on up to the main base now. Alright, in the main base here, we have our wheat fields right here for all the weeds, for all the crops. Crop fields, not wheat fields. And I came up raw copper and raw iron. Kind of looks like carrot and potatoes blocks crushed up. I felt like that was pretty creative. And Netherwort looks like beetroots crushed up into blocks. So now we have, you know, hay bales and we have all these other blocks. I think it looks cool. If we come over here, we have all of our donkeys. These were, where is he? We have Bandit, which was the first donkey I ever got when they first came out. We have Aster. We have Oliver, which is the new donkey. And we have Johnny Knoxville, because, well, Johnny Knoxville. We have this nice, peaceful lake. And this is candles on grass. And it kind of looks like cattails. I think it just adds to the pond right here. We also have turtles, salmon, sea pickles for lighting. Just basic underwater stuff right here. We have a fox statue right here too, because again, I like foxes, so why not put one in my main base? Yeah, but just a peaceful lake. You know, you can do some fishing, sit, kind of let the days just fly by. Over here, we have the buddy kind of, you know, area, and then we have where Shadow Rider goes when I'm not riding him. We come in this way. This is the main house. Just second sets of armor and everything. I haven't really done much with these. I had ideas, and I just haven't done anything with it. Come into the main area. We got, birds. We got Vladimir, Jenkins, and Tikalu. And they can dance. Nice bathroom. Kitchen area. Nice little foyer. We can watch TV. I can monitor what's going on in my base. We have some of my cats throughout the years. We come up here. We have my first set of armor, my first enchanted bow and tool. This is what I love, making shields. I love the fact that you could do banners and shields like this. So I keep a chest, and every time I come up with a cool banner design, I make it into a shield. And down here, it's just my first set of enchanted, you know, tools and everything. And then a couple multi-shot bows. My bedroom, quaint little bedroom. We see a lot of these in streams and stuff. Outside balcony area. We come down this way. This leads to the main chunk of the base. We have storage area right here, but we'll be walking through that in a minute. We have a massive library right here. And I mean a massive. Over here, we have a small little trading hall with one of the first villagers I actually captured, Bob. Bob's lived in my basement for the last 11 years now. Bob's a good guy. That's why he has the biggest room out of everyone. I have plans for Bob in the future, so stay tuned. Bob might be free soon. But yeah, just a small little trading area if I need emeralds really quick. This pathway actually leads to my windmill, so you can go up and come out, and you're back outside. It's one of many ways you can get in and out of my base. You can drop back down this way. I did that specifically because I have a giant map wall in the adjacent room. And it was annoying having to go all the way out and up and around where I could just go this way. So this is a giant map room. This is the map of Asgard in its entirety. We have all of our heads minus the piglin head. We have Steve's head from the illegal item series. This is Herobrine, which we had to kill because Granny brought him back to life. A whole bunch of other heads. We have 2 dragon eggs. We have the golden host set, which is Rem's set. I don't know what I'm going to put here. Maybe in the illegal items set. We have the entirety of the map of Asgard, which this map wall is massive. And I'm going to throw it up on screen right now because I actually got this map on my real wall above my desk right now, thanks to Display. Not sponsored by them, but this is a cool piece of merchandise you can have from your own Forever World. So if you have a long time huge map wall or anything, you can make a display out of it. I did use an AI generator to make it look like an actual real map, so it looks even cooler than this one. I just thought that looked really cool. And this map is gigantic. It's absolutely massive. And speaking of illegal items, we have this one right here. Illegal Items Museum. Got it by Docs and Macro. I came up with these. I felt that was very tongue-in-cheek, and I enjoyed every second of naming these guys. But every illegal item here was gotten through vanilla survival, transported through the nether. If you want to learn more about that, look up how to transfer illegal items from one map to the other, or look up how to just transfer items from one survival map to the other. There was so much learning how to do all this, and learning old Minecraft and snapshots and tons of crashes and stuff didn't work out well. It was a lot of fun making this series, and I want to make another series like this in the future. It's just, this was such a fun series to make, and I've enjoyed every second of collecting every one of these illegal items. This was just great. This was a fantastic side series I did with Minecraft, and I'm so sad to see it end. I was very sad to see it end, because I absolutely enjoyed this museum. Absolutely enjoyed it. But yeah, so all illegal items, everything's here. This looks cool. Docs and macros go to go on this for the rest of the time. If you can think of any illegal items I should add to the museum, let me know, because a lot of what's left we can only get through creative mode, which is something I sadly had to do with the full steep slate. Sadly, there was no way to get this in survival. So this is the only one that I transferred just from one map to the other because it's an illegal item. So this was the only one that got in survival. Everything else was pretty much got in survival. If you want to see that series too, it's super fun. It's 5, 6, 7 parts long. It was a super fun series to make. We learned so much about old Minecraft. So we come down this way, we have a kind of bar area over here. It's just a cool little bar area. This has been here forever. Like, literally forever. Nothing has really changed here. This is my nether wart farm. So what you do is you plant the nether wart, let it grow, hit the button, water comes out, click it and again, water goes away, pushes it into these hoppers, which dumps it into this chest right here. This is all connected by this amount of redstone. Super simple redstone, even though it took me hours to figure this out, because I was just learning redstone at that time. If you come over here, this is blacksmith area. This is super cool. I like this area. We don't really utilize it much because we use villager trades a lot, but nice little area. This used to be a storage area. I got this cleaned up. Made it a nice little chill lounge area. This, funny enough, I do have like rail systems throughout this map, and this goes down into my old mine area. Back when I first started, I wanted a quick way to load this stuff up into into my storage system at the time. So we have a rail system here, and we also have a secondary rail system. If I can find it. Ah, here we go. We also have a secondary rail system from here, which goes all the way down to my lava farm, so I can load that up here too for the blacksmith. So, nice little quaint area. We come up this way. This is a secondary way to get in and out. This kind of gives like the center of the base and the center of the downstairs area. Map. This is a rail system down to the mines, which I just showed. Over here used to be where the train station that would lead to my end portal used to be. Now I just have it with every old block, which was super fun to get. We flicked this lever though. Train station to the stronghold is still here. So I didn't want to get rid of it, but I figured this was a good compromise for it. Over here we have a banner making area. This is kind of like where the banners hang out to dry. Over here is where you make all the banners. If we come down this way, this is the enchantment table that was in my library down here that I moved because I didn't want to get rid of it. Up here we have a quick way to get over here, and we also have a quicker way to get up to my lookout platform, which I was talking about. So that way we could get out of the base and up here really quick if we're in that section of the map. And since we're here, we'll fly out over here. It's just a bee sanctuary up on the hill. If we come over here, we have a cemetery. This is where pets have died, people in real life I've lost, celebrities like James Carter. We have Ozzy Osbourne. We have my friend's cat, Little Elvis, that passed away. We have people like Chester. We have Lance Reddick, Kevin Conroy. We have Stan Lee. A whole bunch of my other pets, friend pets, and everything. Nice little small cemetery. I don't want this to fill up one day, but sadly that's how it's looking. If we come over here, we have my nice little Zen garden with foxes and you know, again, another swing. But if you want to get down to the banner making area, you come into this little area and drop down. So there's tons of ways we can get in and out of this base. Tons and tons and tons and tons of ways. If we come down here, we have the Nether and End Hub. Again, illegal item series. We were able to get end portal frames, and boom. Now we can get to the end through our base without needing to go all the way to the stronghold. Which is super nice when we're doing massive projects and we gotta repair tools and whatnot. We come down this way, we have our Nether Hub. And behind it, we have our massive sugar cane farm for sugarcane. It's not automatic. I like farming stuff the old-fashioned way. I don't like a lot of automatic farms. It's not my cup of tea, really. If we come up this way and come down this way, we have a massive tree farm, which is several layers deep, and can be accessed through a bubble elevator. I did this off screen. I wanted to stress test my new PC, because this was a day after I got it. I wanted to do recording, but I wanted to stress test it too, so I decided to not do a time lapse of it. We come down this way. This is actually a walking elevator, and I would never do redstone again. This elevator took too long to figure out how to do. And I will never, ever do redstone again. Like, if we come back here, this is all the redstone, and I will never try to do this again. This took like a week. A week of trying to get it to walk. And then it broke when I updated past 1.11, and I had to redo it, and I was mad. Never again. Lava farm, which you already seen, and then that track. So we're gonna come back up this way. Gonna ride the elevator back up, which I love. I love the fact that we have a walking elevator. It's very cool to have this actually, you know, walking. And to have a piece of old Minecraft history that you don't really see a lot of walking elevators. Bubble elevators are more compact and nicer. But yeah, so that's the inside of the base, all pretty much done and accounted for. We're gonna head back up. We're gonna call Shadow Rider, because we're gonna go back into town and finally show off one of the greatest achievements I think I have ever built in this map. This was the season finale of Season 2. This was something I've wanted to do since I built the cemetery. This took a lot of planning, this took a lot of dedication, this took a lot of live streaming, and this took a lot of fun being had between me and my subscribers. We come through this tunnel. We come out into this nice pathway. Come down this pathway here. Nice zen pathway. We come up to this gate. Now entering Asgard's cemetery. We're gonna get off. We're gonna plant Shadow Rider right here because it's rude to ride through a cemetery. And welcome to probably my favorite expansion I've done yet in Asgard. Welcome to Asgard's cemetery. This right here is some of the most fun I think I've ever had making videos of, planning, live streaming. This right here, it's a culmination of everything I wanted to do in season 2 of Asgard. We're gonna save the church for last, but if we come up this pathway, we have the nice flowers. This is one way to get into the church. But this is also, if you have members of the church, if you have family members, you can have them be in this back area of the church for graves. We have these nice dual, like, kind of, I don't even know what you would call these hanging plant vine things. I can't think of the word. I'll throw the name up on screen if I can remember it. But yeah, no, this was supposed to be a super, like, peaceful area made specifically for high-ranking members of, you know, the church and high-ranking family members and, you know, stuff like that. We have this beautiful looking pond right here. Like, it had some kelp in it. Whoa, in a cemetery. I guess the rain makes sense. There we go, now that it's less gloomy around here. So we have this nice pond on the back half of the cemetery. I didn't want to just put all graves back here. It didn't make sense to have this all graves. I wanted this to be a peaceful, pretty place. And again, this was a lot of fun to make. I love putting foliage everywhere. I love the different grave designs too. We have so many different grave designs. We have single ones, we have wide ones, we have tall ones, we have mini ones, tiny ones. Like, this was a lot of fun to make. If we come out this section though, again, more graves. We have this mausoleum. I, again, ended up, and I don't know what's wrong with OBS. I don't know if it's just something. I don't know. I made a time lapse of both of these mausoleums, and neither one of them saved. Now, for you guys that don't know, I don't use the replay mod because I'm on Fabric, and it doesn't agree with the mods that I use for Fabric. It doesn't, like, that and Sodium kind of clashes. And all that, you know, with different performance mods that I'm using. So I don't use the replay mod. So I use Rem's secondary account. That Rem's account just kind of sits like here, and I move it around so I can build, right? So I record off of my old MSI computer. And I don't know if that's why it's corrupting all the time, or if that's why, you know, that's why it's not saving properly. I don't know what's going on, but I did have a time lapse for these. It didn't come through. I was able to do the big one, wasn't able to do the small ones. It's kind of sad, but it happens. But yeah, small little mausoleum. If we come over here too, Rem brought up a good idea. Since Granny brought Herobrine, why was Granny being seen near these suspicious graves that are glowing blue? I wonder about that. Wonder what Granny's up to next. Guess we'll have to find out, huh? But yeah, no, nice small little back half of the cemetery. Cemeteries always have that, you know, one section that's just not maintained as well as it should be. And my subscriber Moondrop actually came up with this design, which I didn't understand at first. I thought he wanted just walls and stuff. No, he wanted chains on top. I think this looks a hell of a lot better. And again, thank you, Moondrop, for bringing this idea up. This is like completely overgrown, and this is the one part of the cemetery that is just completely forgotten. There's always that one part. So yeah, we have this nice little back half, and the entire cemetery, as you can see, has pathways. You could get to any part of the cemetery by walking on the pathway. Any part you could think of, you can get to at one point. And mostly just graves coming through here. It was a lot of fun just this was all free-handed to these graves. I did not come up with the designs. I just kind of went through and placed blocks until it looked good. There was no, like, usually I like to plan builds out before building them and streaming. Not this time. This was freehand, and I think it came out looking great. This mausoleum's the same as that one over there. It's literally the same copy. Over here, we have the cemetery keeper's house. And I finally got this done. He has a nice porch swing in the front, some nice flowers. Tiny interior, nice interior, but, you know, there's only one guy that lives here. You're not going to really have a family running the cemetery, and he's alright with that. Again, more graves on both sides. If we come up over here, we have the giant mausoleum right here. This was a lot of fun to do a time lapse on. I had fun with this one. I love the interior too. I forgot where I found these. I forget. I googled it, but I can't remember if it was Instagram or Planet Minecraft or something that I found these schematics on. But this looks really good, and it gives another use for shroom lights, which I always love finding uses for shroom lights. This is a nice mausoleum. Overall, this whole area is made to be peaceful and zen, and it's sad. It's a cemetery, but at the same time, it's supposed to be beautiful. That's why we have fountains, plenty of foliage. And over here, we have this nice little, like, just kind of area for families to sit. And if the church is doing outside stuff, they have this area. You can come out this way and kind of, you know, sit on the beach if you want to. We have lights going all the way around so you can see. Might put some chairs and benches and stuff out there, because this is also another part of Asgard, is being able to just, you know, you had to bury a family member or something. Come sit out on, you know, the beach and just kind of look around for a little bit. Kind of be peaceful. But now, this church was the best thing I think I've ever put in this map. This is a homage to the Temple of Time and Ocarina of Time. And my moderator, Rem, didn't want to call it just the Temple of Time. She wanted to be creative. So she decided to call this Raru's Temper, the sage from Ocarina of Time that was in the Temple of Light. And yeah, this church just looks fantastic. It took a couple streams to build, but it got done a lot faster than I thought it was going to. But now, finally, the culmination of another year of streaming. Welcome to the Temple of Time, aka Raru's Temple. So yeah, this is just such a peaceful build. I tell you what, just look at it. You know, people would stand here, you would be able to sit here. We have places up here for people to sit and, you know, read, and they would be singing. It's just, this is such a nice build. And the Temple of Time music just adds. It literally just adds to it. This is such a nice area, and this is probably my favorite build right now that I've done in the last 2 years of streaming. But with that being said, that is every major change in my 11-year-old Forever World. If you guys have stuck it out this far, I want to thank all of you for the support. I want to thank all of you guys for the last 2 years of amazing streams and the support. We're ever growing. We've had so much fun with streaming randomizers and Minecraft and just everything. And I'm looking forward to 2026. It's going to be a good year. I'm part of this amazing Forever World Discord server. It will be linked down below. If you have a Forever World, if you want to start a Forever World, if you want to just figure out why people would play on one map forever, join the Discord. It's going to be down below. Very nice people. Very courteous, kind people. They will help with anything you need. You can share pictures. We have off-game topics. It's a great place, and it finally is open to the public, and I can finally talk about it. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you did not like the video, tell me why you didn't like it. Give it a thumbs down and let me know in the comments why. Drop down in the comments, what's your favorite build that we've done over the last 2 years? Or what was your favorite build that I showed off in today's episode? And again, I know this is a long video. I want to thank all of you guys. This is probably the longest World Tour I have on my channel ever. And it's only going to get more massive as time goes on. I'm glad I was able to show off everything in the map instead of just, well, these are the 2 massive changes we have done like I usually do. I think every couple years I want to do a complete, like, walkthrough of this map, and the videos are only going to get longer and longer as that progresses. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and stay tuned for more zany randomizer fun on this channel and more Minecraft coming in the future. I have big plans, so keep an eye out for that. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you all for watching this super long video, and join the Discord for the Forever World. Really nice people. Anyways, peace out, everyone.